Okay, hello dear friends, good morning. Another beautiful day, and I actually do not have much plan for the day, and I didn't do an outfit of the day, still in shorts and biking around and then taking a bus. So one day as I was taking the bus, I saw a library, Capitol Library. So I was thinking, I have never been to the National Library, China's National Library. So I decided to go there. So I took on the bus, and in Beijing, everything is so convenient. And cell phone is one of the most important thing in life. You do payment by cell phone, you rent a bike by cell phone, you search for address by cell phone, everything. It becomes so much of your own information. I try not to use that much. For example, if you go to farmer's market to buy something, can you imagine? And there is a QR code, and even some street panhandlers, they have a QR code, and singers, street singers have a QR code. You can give tips through WeChat, through online payment. Very, very, very interesting. So I took bus, and this is such a familiar place. This is Beijing Zoo, and I remember this place is a few kilometers away from me, a few miles, let's say, also 1 or 2 miles away from me. And when I was young, before I go to school, around 3 years, 4 years, 5 years old, I came here with my sister, and we could not afford a ticket for the bus, 5 cents something. So we walk all the way. I love to come here. So we walk all the way, come here, and I think children have a very inexpensive price, and also there are some small back doors you can enter without paying to pay 1 or 2 cents. We didn't have money, but this place causes so much memory. Another thing I remember this place is that this place is where we did a lot of volunteer jobs. Did you see the white fence? Yeah, you can see the white fence below, right? So when we were young, at our elementary school, around 3rd or 4th grade, 10 years old something, we started to do a volunteer job to take care of the bus stop. You know, at that time, the bus stop or the buses are very, very crowded, and people get on the bus. Whenever there is bus coming in, everyone fights to get on the bus. Nobody make a line, and it's quite a messy thing. So our class, we started to do one of our teacher who taught us for 7 or 8 years. We grew up with this teacher, and she took bus every day. She lived in this area, took bus from here every day, and then she thought about making a volunteer job to take care of the bus stop. So every weekend we came here, and with a little flag and saying line up, and we manage and control the people to line up. And as we did this, we were noticed by one of the local news station reporter, 中央电视台 Central Broadcasting Station, I think Central Broadcasting Station or Beijing Broadcasting Station, anyway. And at that time, there were only 1 or 2 broadcasting stations. And one of the journalists passed by and found us and started to chat with us. And then she found it quite interesting. I lost a little bit of the detail, but anyway, it was a journalist found us and started to think to make a report on radio station. At that time, there was no TV, no television, so put us on radio station. So we had one of our classmates was the head of the team, 小队长, 中队长. So she made the story and she made a radio station article and she read, and I think maybe with some music or without music, but it was quite a big event. A radio station had a report of our story. And we kept doing this for a few months or almost a year until we graduate. I forgot the detail. It's 50 years ago or 40 years ago. It's been a long time. But every time I pass by that station, I think about it. 32路 or 320, I think it's a 320 something. And it caused such a fond and beautiful memory. And this road is full of memory. And this is Beijing 首都体育馆 Capital Gymnasium, I think Capital Gymnasium. And when I was young, China did not have a diplomatic relation with America. After the Korean War, China and America was very, very much against each other. And that was the place that China started from ping pong diplomacy. And I went to Beijing 首都体育馆 Capital Gymnasium and to see the ping pong game, and Song Shixiong, one of the very famous sports commentator and report about ping pong. 2个亮一大板又一大板2个亮17大板左一板右一板右一板左一板 it's so quick and so fun. And 2个亮庄则栋 the famous Chinese ping pong players. And starting from there was from ping pong diplomacy started to have the two countries establishing diplomatic relation, and Nixon visited China, and I think it was 1972. And at that time, we were educated how to talk with American journalists and how to respond the tricky questions. Gosh, what a memory! And yeah, with all these memories, I arrived at National Library. And it's such a huge library. And beside the National Library, there was a National Historical Book Museum. So I entered this book museum. It is a recording. It is it is the collection of Chinese literature, Chinese character, Chinese word, Chinese literacy development. The old newspaper for 50 years, each page collected, and the Chinese dignitaries and Chinese leader Chairman Mao and Zhou Enlai, the Prime Minister Zhou and the Chairman Mao, and it is just so touching to see life coming back to my childhood and before my childhood. These were the documents that my parents would have seen, and there are just so many things. China is a country of long history, and it is true, you dig a hole on earth, you will find something. 4,000 years, and our ancestors buried things, and a lot of things. And also from this exhibition I knew a story about Chinese oracle. So Chinese oracles was the very first Chinese lettering and recording of lettering collection of Chinese characters, and it was found. It was already existed, but it seems like there was a loss of history for many years. People did not remember it or notice it, and there was one day, one guy 100 years ago, at the beginning of 1900, at the beginning around that time, there was one guy. He got sick, and he got a bone infection or something. He got sick, so he found some bones, and what he did with the bones, he grind the bones into powder, very refined powder. I'm sorry, there are people. I am right now in a museum. Let me stop. There are some people visiting, so it's a little bit too noisy. Wait me one moment. Okay, let's continue with our oracle story. So once upon a time, around 100 years ago, there was one guy. He got some infection and some bone pain, some problem, and I think he hurt his arms and got infection, and he did not know what to do, and he found some bones, and that's the only thing he could find at that time. So he grind the bone and put the powder, grind it so fine, the bone powder, put on his hurts, on his problem, on his infection, and then guérir, and then it healed. It healed. His arm was healed. So he was very surprised, did not know what was happening, and these start to spread out. Other people have problem. They also grind the bone, and also can cure disease. So starting from then, the medicine shop, Chinese medicine shop, start to collect those bones, and they collect as much as possible. And there was one time, one guy found in the medicine shop, as he was collecting, he looked carefully, he saw some character on the bone, and he started to notice, and then found more characters on the bone, and by and by he started to pay attention, and this information got attract the interest of one of the scholar, the antique scholar or archaeologist scholar, and found out actually, those were the words, the recording of 2,300 years ago. That was a Chinese oracle. Oracle is a kind of bone. It's a turtleback bone. Turtle. You see sea turtle, river turtle. Their bone are very strong. Or the cow bone, they are very strong. If you have eaten bone soup, you know cow bone, as you boil it, it becomes stronger and stronger, and the pig bone becomes soft, but cow bone becomes stronger and stronger. So they noticed there are characters on the bone, and from then they start to had the study, officially study about this terracotta, and rediscovered the lost history of 200 or 300 years ago. And that's the starting of this story. And as you can see, the Chinese character was first encarved onto bones, and this is also the development of Chinese character and writing style. So the very beginning of Chinese character is quite rigid, and the character is more adapted to the style of carving with rock, with hard stuff. And then as it developed, China developed the brush, and the writing style is more Kai style, a perfect calligraphy style. And maybe I will do it another time and show you Chinese character and show you the word development. So I came to the library. It's this one is the library. I went I got out of the museum, the character or Chinese recording, character recording, literature recording, book recording museum, came to the library. And it's a huge library, huge. I think it's 5 floors up ground and 3 or 4 floors underground. It's totally open. It's just amazing to see it, and it's very convenient. You drink water with this water paper bag. You drink water with paper bag. I think China do not use that sprout. We use this kind because the tap water is not drinkable. You have to drink this kind of water because of the pollution. So I was walking here and looked down. Oh, it is amazing. There are a lot of visitors from all over the country come to see this architecture wonder. It's look at it. It's so scary. It's scary. In Chinese, we have a saying recently that people are smart. It's not scary. It's okay. But the scary thing is that people are smarter than you already, but they work harder than you. And you go to this place, go to China's, go to library, you feel the pressure. And there are students, they are so good already. They are at top school, top university, and they work even harder than you. And that is scary. We are already not as smart, and we are even lazier. Gosh, it put me to shame. Yeah, I took some picture of this place. It's fascinating. The amount of books and the dedication of people working hard and really working their head off. So I finished the visit of the National Library and took a bus. I think I took a subway, and the subway brought me to the other side of the town, which was the center of Beijing. Used to be the very, very center, the most crowded shopping area, Wangfujing. And when I was young, I still remember when I was young, I came here by bike with my parents. And now it made into this walking street, but pedestrian streets without bus. It used to be a lot of bus, and the streets are much narrower. And now they made it much more easy and convenient for people to walk by. But still, I feel something missing. Although there are so many tourists, there are a lot of good business, but still, it's something lost. My old memory has lost. And the small, busy street, crowded with people, and the affordable shops and the local products, I feel it's lost. But they are making a lot of effort to make it as local as possible. There are Zara, there are Uniqlo, there are Muji, there are Gap, Valentino, there are big brands, Dolce & Gabbana, there are Chanel, there are all kinds of shops. A lot of top brand, international brands, and Chinese local top brands. Chinese 照相馆, photography studio, Chinese bookstore. I bought my books from here, and I met a friend from here, and we became a very good friend in a bookstore. And still, when you open your heart, there are fascinating things to see around. I love night. It's so mysterious, and it's so romantic. There are much less people in the night, and everything becomes so tender, so soft, and it's much cooling down. I can walk without sweating, like. Anyway, I love you. I really do. Do. Bye, friends.